Welcome to Swords, Spears, and Arrows with Camille Babin, a podcast that features messages on spiritual formation, soul care, and a book club to help you win the battle within.
Hello and welcome to Swords, Spears, and Arrows. I'm your host, Camille Babin. Today I have this question that has been on my mind for the past week. What are you doing? And it wasn't a question that I was asking myself. It's not even a question that I'm yelling to you. But I want us to think, about the meaning even of the question, what are you doing? Because it really causes us to stop and to even do an inventory of the things that we're really doing. Because when someone asks you, what are you doing? Automatically you pause for a moment and you have to think about the things that you're doing right now before you start speaking. And that's really what I want us to do today. I want us to pay attention to the things that take our time, or even the people in our lives that we invest our energy, our attention into. I want us to reflect and even ponder and ask ourselves and ask the Holy Spirit, is it something that I'm supposed to be doing? Is it something that you have for me? Is it a relationship that I should pursue? Is it a goal or yes, a goal that I should really work towards? Because, and I think I even mentioned at the beginning of the year when I was talking about setting the goals, because so many times we make lists of things that we want to accomplish. We make a list of the goals that we really want to obtain. But at the end of the day, we have to really stop or take a step back and realize, is it really worth my time? Is it in line with the plan that God has for my life? Because we don't want to just be busy bee. We don't want to go after things. We don't want to be running here and there. And at the end of our days, at the end of our life, realize that everything that we did was for nothing, that all the energy, all the sweat, all the tears went for nothing. Basically, we didn't even accomplish what God said sent us on this earth, because we have to realize that if we did not create ourselves, but God is the creator, when he made us, he saw a need on this earth. He saw I will say he saw people, he saw a community, he saw a problem that he made us for. He made us, or he sent us, he created us so that we could be the answer to that problem, so that we can make a difference where we are, so we can become the thing, or we can really hold within ourselves the solutions and the resources that the community will need. So I really want us to think about that, to think about, are we being available to God, for God to use us? Are we available for his purpose to be manifested? Are we really making sure that whatever problem, whatever issue, whatever solution, this world needs, are we able to bring them effectively? Because it's easy to say, I'm busy, I have this, I have that, and it feels good. Sometimes it feels good because nobody wants to be perceived as being idle, or, being lazy, or not having anything to do, or even being bored. But we don't want also to become these busy bodies. I don't even want to say busy bees, because to me, bees do work. They're hardworking, and they have an agenda, and they have discipline, they have organization, and they know how to work, and they know why they do what they do. But we don't want to do, to be busy thinking that we're doing so much, and at the end, we really miss the point. At the end, we really fail to accomplish the purpose for our lives. So I want you to think about the things that you do. Just make an inventory, make a list of the things that you're currently involved in, or even like I said, the relationship or the initiatives that you associate yourself with. And really seek God on it and ask him, is it really something that I should still be involved in? Is it something that you've designed for me? Maybe it was the word, or it was the activity or the action for last season, but you want to make sure that it still gives you the green light to continue to move forward. Just don't do things out of habit, because we've seen a lot of people even staying at workplace, staying in a job, just because they were so used to, just because they've been doing it for 20 years and 25 years. And don't get me wrong, longevity is important. Commitment is important. Loyalty is important. But at the end of the day, you never want to stay longer somewhere that God intended for you to stay. Because when you think you were, maybe the beginning you were productive, but now that you're just becoming used to, there is no more challenge. There is nothing that really require even your presence. Then you will stop being productive. You will stop impacting. You will stop making a difference. And I want to remind you today that you were created to make a difference. You were created with an assignment, a specific assignment. And yes, I know that many people will even ask, and have asked me the question before, but how do I know the purpose for my life? And I'm glad you asked, because that's really what I'm all about, is really helping people understand the God-given assignment and going after it, understanding the value that God has placed on them, understanding even the skills and the talents and the resources that God has made available to them, so that they can fulfill the plan that He had in mind when they created. And sometimes the enemy tries to creep in, making us feel like we are worthless. We don't really make a difference, or whether we're here or we're not, nobody will ever notice. But that's a lie. God will notice. God knows exactly why He called you. He knows exactly why He made you. He knows why He sent you here. But do you know why? That's the question I want you to reflect on today. Do you know why? Do you know why you are where you are? Do you know why you were maybe born in this country? Do you know why you have that passion, or you have that desire, or you have even those skill sets? Why you love doing what you do? Why you able to do this thing? Because we tend to take for granted our abilities. We tend to take for granted our skills. And recently I was even speaking to my sister, and I was telling her how, we have to pay attention, because most of the time the gifts that we have, because they're innate, because, God placed them from the beginning of our days. We were born with it, it's so natural to us. And because it's so natural, we do it with little effort. It just comes naturally, right? It flows out of us because it's really who we are. God gave us so that we can fulfill the agenda He has for our lives on earth. But because it's so easy, if we don't pay attention, we will really discredit it. We will really diminish it. We won't we won't give the proper value, until someone maybe points that out to us, or we see more people asking us, how do you do this thing? How are you able to do this and to do that? And that's when we realize that, oh, I guess it's not as easy as I thought it was. So we really have to pay attention and to be careful not to neglect, not to take for granted or become familiar with the great things, or even I would call it our greatness, right? The things that God has given us for free, basically, but just so we can do what He wants us to do. So to the question of how do I know what I'm called to, how do I discern the purpose for my life? It will probably be an easy answer, but you have to go to the maker. You have to go to the creator, because the same way you go to the manufacturer for something that they build or something that they design, because you trust them. You trust that they made the thing, they made the product, and they know how it functions. That's the same way we have to go to our Lord. We have to go to God, to our maker, and seek Him and ask Him, God, what is your purpose for my life? A few questions maybe that can help us to identify the purpose for our life is really to ask the question, like, what are you passionate about? What are the things that come to you so easily that you've noticed that some people may struggle with? What are the things that even grieve your spirit, the things that break your heart when you see certain things, and and you feel like, sometimes you feel like you're the only one seeing those things. And I've heard someone say, if you the only one seeing a problem, that means you're the only one to fix it. Or at least you have a part to play. You have something to do, because, don't just be upset that people don't see it. If you see it, it's for you to do something about it. So those will be the things that can help you discern or detect the purpose that God has for your life, the things actually that bring you great joy, or the things that you could see yourself do or that you can do even if you were not getting paid for it. The things that you can just wake up every day and you do it and you don't get tired, or even when you get you can feel sometimes a little bit frustrated or discouraged, but you just can't stop going back to it. You just can't stop doing, like, you love helping people or you love feeding people, and sometimes you may be exhausted, you feel like you're tired, you burn out, and yes, you can rest a little bit, and then as soon as you feel rested, you just want to jump back in. And I'm not saying that necessarily this is your purpose, but I said that can help you understand, or at least have an idea of the things that God wants to use you in, or the things that God wants you to pursue. Because I also want to make this, it's really a word of caution. It's not because you can do something that means you should do it. Because sometimes we feel like, oh, I can do this thing. We look at someone and maybe, yeah, they can play basketball, and you feel like, I can play basketball too. But does it mean that you're called to become a professional basketball player? Not necessarily. I can cook, but I know I'm not called to open a restaurant and work in the food industry, because I know, though I can do it, it's not something that I'm called to do, because it's not something that I even enjoy, and that's the thing. Sometimes there are things that, yes, you can do it if you put your mind to it, if you learn, you can do it, but are you called to do it? So all that to say, don't waste your time just doing something. Make sure that you use that resource, the time that you have, properly and wisely, in focusing on the things that God has for you. And you don't have to look around. You don't have to try to copy or adapt to what other people are doing, or even to the current trend. You set your own trend. You look for the things that God has for you. You look for the things that burn really deep within your heart, within your soul. The things that you can go to bed thinking about, and waking up in the morning having that on your heart. The thing that it gives you vision for, it gives you instruction for, and it gives you the abilities for. And not to say that the abilities can be developed. You can always develop, but there's always a basis. There's always something inside of you that is meant to facilitate the work that God has for you. And work was never meant to be, work is never meant to be something that will actually make us feel frustrated or weary or exhausted, to the point where you just get up every day and there's no love and there's no joy and there's no excitement. That came with the curse, having being working and tilling the ground and sweating, actually, to even be able to reap any fruit, came from the curse. But we are redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. So there should be no striving. There should be no toiling. There should be no like sadness even associated with the work of our hands, with the work that God allows us to do. So if you're struggling, you find yourself at a place where you don't enjoy at all. It's not what you like doing. It's really not. You don't see yourself doing it for the next 5 years, or you just do it because of a paycheck. Reconsider. Don't be afraid to ask God, where do you want me to go? How do you want me to pivot? How do you want me, to just shift or reposition myself in such a way that it will bring you joy? It will bring you glory, because God takes glory out of what we do. When I asked the question in the beginning, what are you doing? It's another way to ask you, are you bringing glory to the Father? Is the work that you do bringing glory to His name? Is the place that you find yourself, do you really think that that's where He wants you to be? If not, then don't be afraid to just, drop everything. Take a break. Take a moment of pause and rest and silence. Meditate on His word. Seek His face and ask Him to talk to your heart. Ask Him to reveal the things that maybe you've missed, or maybe you were never aware of. Let Him explain or reveal to you the passion that He placed in your heart. Why do you like what you like? Why are you so good maybe at doing something, and maybe you feel like underutilized or undervalued? Let Him show you. And I'm not saying that necessarily you have to quit your job, because that may not be it. Maybe it's even your perspective that needs to be changed. Maybe it's you didn't know that you were at that place or in that position for something other than what you see. And it's for you to really bring back that value and really be available for God to use you in the same place, in the same environment, but to bring a change that maybe you never allowed Him to do before. So lastly, I have this question, or it's not really a question, but it's an invitation. While you're working on finding out and discovering really the things that you're doing and the plan that God has for your life, there's one thing that the Lord gave me recently that I feel like it's very important and it can help you. The Lord told me at some point we were praying, and He said, I'm giving you new shoes. And when we talk about the armor of God, we know that we have to, shove our feet with the readiness of the gospel of peace, right? And when the Lord said that, yes, I was excited. And He was talking about how the body, we felt weary, and He was giving us new shoes. And because it's a new mission, it's a new assignment, and our shoes have been worn out. And I've had, quite some episode even with the shoes lately. But then the Lord said, I gave you new shoes, but it's for you to ask me what kind of shoes I'm giving you. Because if you know the shoes that you're wearing, you already know where you're going. And I think that's very important. Once you identify the shoes that you wear, you will be able to know the work that you're supposed to do. The Lord shows you high heels. You know that you're not going in the field. You know that you're not going to do some manual work, because very like a difficult terrain, because you know that these are not appropriate shoes. And there was a movie at some point where I think it was The Pursuit of Happiness, when they were talking about the shoes. He was able to change, but the shoes were not changed. And by the look of the shoes, you can tell basically the profession of the individual. You can tell what kind of work they do, right? When you look at someone's feet and you see they wear safety shoes, you know what kind of, you can imagine, or you can assess, you can guess the type of work that they do. So if you see someone, we look at shoes and we know sometimes, maybe they work at the bank, or they some kind of in offices because of the shoes they wear. So today I just want you to ask the Lord simply, what shoes do I wear? It will help you to discern where He's taking you, the places that He's sending you. If you see spike, or you see, soldier boots, you know that you're going to the battlefield. And I don't want you to limit this word to just being shoes or physical shoes, actual shoes, because it's really the shoes that you wear in the spirit. It's not the shoes that you wear every day to go out. It's really the shoes that God is shoving at your feet, the spiritual shoes that is equipping you with. And what are those spiritual shoes? It's the word that God gives you. So seek Him and ask Him, what word are you speaking into my life at this moment? What word are you releasing over me that will allow me to understand the plan and the vision that you have? What is the directive, the instruction, the wisdom that I get from your word? And whatever word God placed on your heart, stick to that word. Stand on that word, meditate on it until you see it come to pass, because the word of the Lord is true. He said it will never return to Him void, but it will always produce what it was sent out to do. So today again, I want to encourage you. Don't seek to be busy, but seek to be productive. Seek to make an impact. Seek to make a difference. Seek to walk in the will of God and in the perfect plan that He has for you. So I cannot wait to hear from you from the comments. You can email us. You can follow us on social media, and if you have an answer as to the shoes that God is revealing to you, I will really be happy to hear about it, and even to discuss and even stand in agreement with you in prayer. If you're not sure about the shoes and you really seek someone to stand in the gap with you and ask God to reveal that to you, I will gladly do that. So you have all our information. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. So I pray that you have a blessed week, and I cannot wait to talk to you next week.
Thank you for listening to Swords, Spears, and Arrows with Camille Babin. If you would like to find out more, check our website, www.havilasolutions.com, or follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Havila Solutions. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any episode.